What's up, family?
What's up, family?
Just keeping it real with Charles and
This is Melendia.
Melendia. Yep. Hey, got a little something today. We want to basically special and from our hearts.
Yeah.
Some things that, and we're going to share our experience. We're going to open up to you
Yeah.
about some ideas here and to encourage and strengthen you as well. But you're probably asking, if this is your first time, one thing we ask, if you would, please, if it's not, please share.
Share.
Please like our video.
Yes.
And if you would, hit the subscribe button.
And you'll be notified whenever we have more podcast information coming up.
So what's
Yeah.
our purpose, babe?
To empower all people
All people.
in the hope of building a stronger world.
A stronger world. Just what we need today.
We do.
We have a topic, again, as I said earlier, that's dear to our heart, really. Dear to our hearts.
Yes.
We've had some experiences, gosh, man, and raising our children in particular, and with the birth of our second child, who was born with a congenital birth condition.
Yeah. So this segment is called Strength Through the Struggle.
Through the struggle.
Yes. You know, and he will talk a lot about his struggle.
Yeah, so we're going to introduce you to Darren, our son.
We're going to introduce you to Darren. And if you've seen the other podcast, you saw the family. But we kind of wanted to get a little bit more personal.
Yes, yeah.
About the struggle.
Sure, sure.
If you ever saw our son, or if anybody knows anything about our son, he has had some challenges, and from birth.
Right, and we've had some challenges in dealing, with him and going through and experiencing. And we want to share that with you. We want to be open and transparent, just to share those, just a light, part of that.
Like tidbit about what's happened in his struggle, and encourage other loved ones who have dealt with family members.
Or who are dealing with family members right now. So one thing we want you to know, at times we felt we were all alone, when you agree. And we want you to know that you're not alone. We want to give you some resources, at the end, and at least want to be encouraging to you. So again, as we mentioned, our son Darren, we talk about.
Just had a birthday, 30 years old.
Just turned 30 years old. So his condition.
It's called cystic hygroma lymphangioma.
Cystic hygroma.
Lymphangioma
is a
now,
second name.
I can tell you, I've never heard that before I birthed our son.
And now his condition, they lumped it all under the name of
venous
malformation. So you probably have seen maybe, some people may have, and mainly their
lower levels,
the lower level of the
their neck,
face,
their jaw,
right.
But it's also called hemangioma. So he has a combination of two.
Right.
Lymphangioma, which is the lymph system.
Overdeveloped lymphatic system, just
and
in
then
short.
Your hemangioma, which is blood clots.
Right, in the blood. Yeah, right, the blood.
Yeah.
So right, and so he was born in 1990 on Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yes, and it was labor, and we tell that story at our 35th anniversary.
Yeah. We're here to encourage your heart.
Yep.
Strengthen your faith.
Yep.
What else can we do for you?
Basically, we're here just to inform you, that
you're not alone.
You're not alone. That's the main thing. You're not alone. And we went through at a time we felt alone. Though we had family, with us, but we felt alone. But we had, church members.
But we
felt alone. We went through it. So you may go through some of that. You may have to encourage yourself in the Lord. So trust me in this one.
Yeah.
So again, we look back. God brought us through a place that we look back later and say, wow, it was only the...
Hopefully, this can strengthen your hope and faith and know that you are not alone.
So without further ado, always remember that God gives special assignments to special people. Please remember that. Without further ado, we present our son, Darren. God bless. We'd like to introduce you to our son, Darren Gerard Roseboro.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Well, we want to get his perspective on a few things. So we shared our story, of how Darren's birth and how we discovered the condition and all. We've shared that with you. At this point, we want to ask him a few questions just to get his input. And I want to ask, first question? What do you think?
Go ahead.
So, Darren, at what age do you remember, let's say, when you discovered your condition? You remember about what age or when did you discover that?
I don't remember the age. I just know it's probably more when kids saw me more and were around me. That's when I could kind of feel that I was different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What were the kids' responses? What did you say?
I mean, they called me different names and pointed and laughed and did stuff like that.
Okay.
So, did you? But even before that, did you have any understanding that may be something different, considering you had nurses and you kind of was more catered to, and all the things that you were surrounded with?
I'm sorry.
Explain it. Right. Give us a little bit of how that journey was for you.
I mean, being younger, of course, you niggas were different, and you dealt with, like what you were saying, with nurses and, like, dealing with medical stuff and having to be watched kind of all day, every day. I knew I was different, but I didn't know that it was different to other people, if that makes sense. I know I was dealing with something different, but, of course, you're not really understanding what you're going through until other people look at it in their eyes. So, of course, I mean, I didn't really know what I was dealing with or what I looked like to the outer appearance. But I knew I was different because I had, of course, dealt with different medical situations and going to visit the hospital more than normal as a kid, and of course dealing with and learning about like the tracheotomy and cystic hygroma and things like that. Being able to kind of understand that at an early age versus, I guess, a normal kid, I knew there was something different.
And I must say, being, I guess, around, I don't know, between the age of 3 and 5 is when he literally was able to do his own maintenance.
Okay, right.
With supervision.
And maintenance consisted of?
Tell us about it. Do you recall, or do you remember, I know you're 30 now, but when you remember us talking about how you were able to do certain things, do you recall that?
I mean, I remember kind of, I think I remember going through the steps of like changing my trach and knowing how to cut my tires. I remember little stuff. I mean, I don't remember the exact age, but I remember when I had the bump bed and the way I used to learn how to cut my tires. I used to have like a block comforter, and Dad used to show me like, okay, cut at this block, and that's where you stop at. So I'll cut it, and we used to cut my tires, and then learning how to change my trach, taking a Q-tip, knowing how far to go to clean it and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, in regards to how have you been dealing with the situation from as early as you can remember? Now, you say you remember that you looked different from the eyes of the others, from others. Take us through a journey of, as much as you can remember, from your younger days. What type of things that once you realized from what others were doing, how did that affect you?
And as far as I can remember, as early as I can remember, I know it did have an effect on me, but not like immediately, because I wasn't really understanding. I guess when kids like look at you differently and stare at you and call you names, I really didn't understand why. Because of course, being around like family and people who support you and things like that, once you step on the outside world, it's kind of like, I don't get it. So it's not really processed as well as understanding like what exactly they're laughing at or what exactly they're talking about. Because of course for me, I was just like, they're staring at me, but I don't understand why. Because of course inside my family and my support system and Angie and people, they've shown me nothing but being normal, like being normal, and there's nothing wrong and everything is normal. as everyone else. Of course, I really didn't understand. But as I got older, as far as probably around like maybe like 8, that's when I really started to like understand that my appearance to them was different. So it made me feel. I mean, of course, as a kid, of course, it's gonna make you feel sad because you wasn't able to be included in certain games or certain things that your other kids do, and people kind of distance away from you because you're looked at differently. But of course, you as a kid are not understanding because all you've been taught was that you're normal. So of course, you try to show that you're normal to other kids, but they're not able to be as receptive to it as what you've been taught.
Sometimes what we want to do is encourage, families, to definitely be supportive. And even going through it, sometimes it can be difficult, but you got to maintain. You got it.
So when we come back, you're going to hear more from Darren. Talk about as he's gotten older and the experiences and his journey up to now, and struggles and challenges and successes that he may go through still up to now, to help educate others that you never know what can happen to you, whether it happened at birth or something can happen while you're older. You never take life for granted. We'll be right back.
We're back. Well, listen, we're going to continue our discussion with our son, Darren. And I think one of the things we want to ask him, and we mentioned something about challenges. And what was some of the challenges you want to share with us? I know coming up, even as a teenager, most kids, they look forward to working, just like our daughter, worked at an early age. And how was working or finding a job as a teen? How was that experience for you?
Hard.
Hard?
Yeah, it was challenging because, of course, like watching my older sister work and stuff like that, it made me feel like, oh, okay, I want a job too.
Right.
Well, let me just put this in here. It wasn't like we were making them work. But we were giving them responsibility.
Making them work.
Giving them responsibility.
You better
If
get
want
out of here,
something
boy. It makes some money. No,
beyond,
we didn't.
Beyond what we can give you. That was just their independence. And they wanted to do that.
And hold on. At the time, we ran a business. We ran a child care facility.
We had them working
and the
there.
thing about it, they did some work there. But we didn't want them only having the experience with us as parents. We wanted them to get out and actually work for someone else and to see how beautiful it was to work for your parents after working for somebody else.
So that was just a disclaimer to say that we weren't like
we didn't was make them work. But
go ahead.
Go ahead, finish. So applying for jobs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, of course, watching my sister work, I wanted to apply for jobs and work and get out there and make my own money. And of course, I didn't. In my thinking is always, well, if somebody else can do it, I can do it too.
Right.
But I never realized the dynamic and the difference on the outside world it would be. So as far as when it comes to, of course, filling out the application was no problem. It was always setting up the interview part. When they actually saw me in person, that's when it was on the phone. They were for it. They was like, okay, great, sure, we'll have you. Set up an interview, see you in person. Then it was very standoffish and, oh, we have to talk it out or whatever the case may be. And of course, there was many issues and challenges as far as when it came to realizing who I was, because I was only depicted by what I looked like. And it was the guy that looked like this. Then of course, once that was said, then it became an issue. Then it became a problem or feeling like a liability because I was different. So they felt like with me being a part of their company, I would be a problem, and I wouldn't be what they felt like their company would stand for. But of course, I didn't understand that because I'm just thinking, well, if they could do it, if my sister can work, why can't I?
And as a parent, that was very frustrating. It brought on. I guess we put on the boxing gloves again.
Yeah, we did.
Like,
and then
what?
we had to deal with some legal issues regarding that. Because you just don't say, as we said, we were employers as well.
Yeah.
So
it was
I
tough.
knew that certain verbiage that was said to our son was not legal. What can you say to someone else that you can encourage them or just express what you've dealt with to give them an outlook on life today?
One of the things I would say is nothing is a mistake. no matter what it is, no matter what you go through. I feel like God takes us on a journey. At times we don't understand, but the outcome is much greater than we would ever think. Because there are a lot of things that I've been through, and
Still going through.
still going through that. It has opened my eyes up to understand that God has a plan with everything that we go through. But I will say, regardless of what you're dealing with, whether it's internal or external, health situations, whatever, still you have to literally keep going. Because stopping is probably one of the worst things that you can do. Because there have been many times that I wanted to give up on different situations and not continue and didn't understand why I looked this way or why I dealt with what I was dealing with. But I'm glad that, that God has been able to have favor over me and brought parents into my life and family into my life to be able to help me to keep pushing and moving forward. Because one of the things you have to have, not only do you have to have faith in God, but you also have faith in your circle to understand that they'll be able to lead you to greater. So I feel like that is probably one of the main things I would definitely say.
So we may have said this in our initial thing. Darren has endured 3 major surgeries. And, possibly looking at, upcoming surgeries. Tell us where do you see, what would you like to see medically change for you?
My lip, because I look like Angelica.
So.
Yeah, from the Rugrats.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay. Oh, Angelica. Okay. Yeah.
But really, it's just my lip. Before, I think honestly, as I could get older, of course, you would ask me that when I was like 15. Of course, I would have said my whole face and everything. But honestly, I'm okay. I don't look back and say, oh, I wish I would change my face and things like that, because I think the older that you get, you start to realize that, like I said, things happen for a reason, and you're perfectly imperfect. And really, I think the only reason why I say my lip is because, of course, for simple reasons of doing everyday things, it's not always easy. But other than that, yeah, that would be the only thing that I would want to change as far as medically.
That he recommended the mayor of Winston-Salem, Mayor Alan Jones, to offer or to Darren a resolution to the city of Winston-Salem, which you did get. We went to City Hall, got a plaque, and we went before the people that listened, and they it presented you with a resolution, and we have that to this day. So God has opened a lot of opportunities, for our family, and even for you. And I've always told you that you're God's man. God has a purpose for your life, and I know right now, whether and I'm believing, God, that as we all steer and go on in life, that we're getting on the path that God has for us and discover that path. So
as we're coming to a conclusion, we'll be right back. And Darren's going to give you a little something to think about. Something that you maybe an aha moment. That things may not be as bad as they may appear. So stay tuned. Be right back.
Honestly, I will say, as far as anyone going through any difficulties, as I said before, mental, whether it's physical or a special needs or disability, I would definitely say one of the things I would do, as I said before, is just try to keep going. There are times I've dealt with mental, trying to deal with mental health and being able to feel down upon myself because I didn't feel normal or I didn't feel like I should. And of course that deals with a lot of, hurtful things, because you wonder about yourself. But one of the things I will say is continue to keep going and continue to keep pushing yourself, because one of the things that I feel like other people don't understand is the more that they try to talk you down to do stuff, one of the things that allows them to be able to win and overcome is when you stop. Some people, they want you to stop. They don't want you to keep going. They don't want you to continue to have faith and continue to do things above and beyond what their expectations are. And that is honestly one of the things I will say as far as bringing yourself to understand that you do have a purpose in life. There is a reason why you're going through what you're going through. There's a reason why you have to keep pushing. There's a reason why you're still on this earth. And even me, I'm still trying to understand my purpose and what God wants me to do in life, because not all the time I don't know. I don't understand it. But I will say I look at myself every day and know that there's a reason why I'm here. And whatever that reason is, I want to be able to make sure I fulfill it to the best of my ability. One of the things I will truly say is surround yourself with positive people. You have to. Whether it's family members, whether it's friends, whether it's talking to a physician, or talking to someone that's able to help with your mental, being able to be around church and religious people that have the same value as yourself. Because one of the things is when you're surrounded by that positivity, and when you're surrounded by people who are able to encourage you and really let you know when, even though you want to give up, not giving up, you're able to really allow to be with someone that can push your limits, then you'll be able to see greater within yourself. I feel like that is also important. And of course, I still deal with certain things. At times I don't feel like doing anything, because at times I may not feel like I'm the same as everyone else, or I may go through things mentally, but at the same time, I have to be around family. I have to understand and trust God that everything is the way He needs it to be, and being able to have faith and guidance, because that is honestly one of the things that's going to keep you going, regardless, no matter what. And I would definitely say continue to pray. Continue to pray and just truly have faith that the end isn't what you think. Going through a bad situation, regardless of what it is not going to last always. It always will continue to be bright on the other side. And one thing I can say, I'm not one of those people to just say, oh, just give you a nice word and just tell you to keep going. I've been through it. You heard my story. I've been through different situations to where people have left me out. People have thought they knew me and they didn't. People talked about me in front of my face and behind my back. But I continue to keep going and surround my face with positivity and surround myself with people who truly believe in me. So that is one of the things I would definitely say that's truly important. And just continue to keep going and always think positive and smile at the end of the day.
Well, there you go.
Well, and Darren, we thank you for spending time with us and sharing, your story, your version of what we all have gone through. And again, thank you,
Thank you.
family, for listening.
And we'll see you next time.
Be encouraged. Peace.
Bye.
I do that. What if people don't want like kids like that?
You just messed that part up.
Sorry.